Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour.
Woo.
My name is Martin Cowart, and we have been gathering here in this virtual sanctuary for over a year to love and support each other through this pandemic, through this last year. And boy, has it been a wild ride, and I'm so grateful for this space, and I'm so grateful for you being here, and I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to have gone through this journey together for the last year. And now, as we've gotten to the other side of this journey together, we're all different. We're none of us are the same as we were a year ago. I would say most of us are in a much more secure place with ourselves. We've learned to love ourselves. We've learned to be more appreciative of life. We come from a bit of gratitude, a deeper sense of who we are and our purpose in the world. And as a result, what we've been doing lately is we've been celebrating different extraordinary people in different areas of the world, different areas of life. Last week it was women. This week it's going to be we're celebrating gay, bi, and transgender men, extraordinary gay, bi, transgender men who do ordinary things that inspire us. And in a second, I'm going to introduce a longtime friend. His name is Frank Asher. And Frank Asher and I got to know each other probably over 15 years ago as volunteer leaders in the Mankind Project, which is where I learned a lot about shadow work. And I have a wonderful network of friends, of men friends, predominantly it's a men's organization, who are really clear about living lives of integrity and purpose in the world. So I'm just really excited today to bring Frank on, who's a gardener, and he is a garden artist. He is also, he has survived, like many of us, he has survived 2 pandemics, the AIDS pandemic and the coronavirus. And he's also a cancer survivor. And today he wants to talk to us a little bit about how he has leaned into his, I would call it the spiritual practice of gardening, his passion for gardening, his joy of getting his hands dirty in Mother Earth to heal and hold him in security through all these different challenging times in his life. And before we do that, I just want to say to anybody that's watching or tuning in, please say hello in the comment section. Just by saying hello, I can't tell you who you are unless you say hello. I just see a number on the screen, and I love, love, love knowing your name. And you're also welcome to add any comments that you want to ask any questions, both here on the live as well as the replay. We actually get more people watching the replay than we do the live. So if you're watching the replay, please comment there and send me direct messages, and I'd be more than happy to. I love to talk. You can tell, I love to talk. I'm having a hard time letting this go to Frank, but I'm just letting you know that if you comment in the comment section with the replays, I will come back and respond to you, and we can carry on that conversation afterwards. So, Frank, please tell us a little bit about how you got to this place where you are today.
First of all, Martin, thank you so much for inviting me here. And for those of you who are watching here, I filled up with a bunch of fear when Martin asked me to do this. And I was like, no, this is too much. So I'm stepping out of my comfort zone to be here. When did it start? I felt a real close connection when I was very young, when I was like 5 or 6, and my dad would take me out to the garden to plant. And my parents would even leave me out in the backyard, and I could just play in the dirt and the grass for hours and hours. As an adult, I really started to get the sense of the therapeutic value and the meditative value of gardening right around the time my mom died of cancer. This was in 1999, and so I became a guerrilla gardener. I was just planting spots in the middle of DC, DuPont Circle area that had been abandoned, tree boxes, the median strip on Connecticut Avenue. And I would just plant annuals, some seeds, tend to pull weeds, get the dog doo-doo out, and watch things grow. And what I discovered was that people who were usually walking toward the metro with their blinders on would all of a sudden stop and look and then go back and put their blinders on. And so I saw that I had an impact It stopped them for a split second and they saw nature. And that was such a gift. And that grew into having a landscape gardening company named Fairies Crossing. It was the crossing owned by the fairies. And those of you out there who are business owners, I really encourage you to be out and proud with your business. One mentor early on in my business said I should change the name Fairies Crossing because it could turn people off. And I just said point blank, if this is going to turn them off, I don't want them as a client.
Right.
I'm a gay man. I'm out, I'm proud, and I'm very fortunate at the time to be living. I was living in the middle of Washington, D.C., and I could be that way. Nowadays, I live in Cumberland, Maryland. It's a little different, but I'm still an out gay man, and I'm very grateful for that. One of the things that getting in the dirt, I think it just keeps me connected to my little boy. You know, that magical little boy that was that feels the rain on his forehead and can get his feet dirty and get his hands dirty and get dirt under my fingernails. I just feel so young and connected to my body and to the earth. And that has saved me this past year and a half specifically. The cancer diagnosis was quite scary. That was in the at the fall of 2017, and I had been planning to sell my business and sell my home and kind of go to Cumberland and start over again and be more relaxed. And but right at that point, the cancer showed up, and so I sold the house under sort of under this stressful thing, and I sold my businesses under this stressful thing. But I came to Cumberland and I had nothing. I didn't have a business. I didn't have that identity. I didn't have, I didn't have a place really to call my own yet. And so once I bought a piece of property and started working in the dirt, I started to regain that connection. And fall of 2019, I bought a home that had a 1,500 square foot lot next door. It was just lawn. And that has been my respite. That has been my paradise. That has been my therapy room, my fun room. Frank is in his happy moments when he's out in the garden. And I've been able to feel renewed because of that. There's just something about being outside, having the sun on your face or with a hat, that gets me into the present moment. That's what it does. It keeps me from worrying about all the things that my reptilian brain can go into, and gets me in the breath of where I'm breathing and I'm touching and I'm seeing and I'm smelling. I'm smelling the dirt and smelling flowers. I'm smelling the air that's just Cumberland air is really quite fragrant, actually, because there's lots of things blooming all around here, all through the year. So that has been my bliss. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to discover bliss. And I encourage anybody, finding your bliss, finding your bliss allows you to get deeper into why you're here on the planet. And you can, one can really grow from that place and discover and create an adventure and heal from all the trauma.
This is so helpful, Frank, because there's a lot of people our age. I think you might be a little younger than me. I'm 66, who are
65 this summer,
who are going into retirement. And going into retirement today is nothing like what it looked like a couple of generations ago. And what I'm discovering and what you're discovering and why telling our stories is so important is that I'm finding that now people, just like you, when people don't People don't even know how to identify who they are anymore once they leave the job or left a career. Even if it's a career like that you loved. Somehow we created out of a need, almost like a false self to please others. It was something we enjoyed doing, and I continue to do, but we created it out of a need to be something we were not.
Right, and to get to where I am right now today, I had to de-identify
exactly
from being a business owner, from being a landscape gardener, from being even on leader track for Mankind Project. I had to de-identify in thinking that I was going to live to my 90s and then magically fall asleep and never wake up.
Absolutely.
Where at 62, I had to go, fuck, there's cancer. Here's cancer. What am I going to do with it? So it's been a ride, and it's been a blessing, and it's been transformational, and it's been a gift.
Exactly, and that is what transformation is. It is when we shift the image of ourselves to a higher level of truth. When we shift our image of God or the Creator, however you refer to that path to higher consciousness, to the truth, and we see the world from a perspective of truth, a truth of abundance and prosperity and joy. And what we also, I would say, we discover it too, is that the path of the heart is the one of the least resistance. It's the one of the least. It's like you're telling stories about this lot next to your house and how much every day now you're just spending your day in enjoyment and enthusiasm, and you're still making a difference in the world for other people, because that's how you're coming into the world.
Ooh, yes, yes. And it's funny. I was getting into my car yesterday, and a gentleman drove by, and I'd known him through acupuncture circles, but he said that he was driving by because a neighbor down the street said, "Oh, you have to go look at the yard on Magruder because Frank is doing some fun stuff." And so it was just like, oh my gosh, people are watching.
Of course they're watching. They can feel your energy. They can feel what you're growing, and they say hello. This is a longtime friend, Mindy Mount, saying hello to us today.
Hi, Mindy.
And Mindy and I met years ago. She was one of my table captains at Ground Zero when I was running that operation at 11.
Wow.
And she was a loyal captain. She had 2 or 3 days a week that she came in and supervised, which is how I ran it all. We had a team of what I call table of captains, and they would come in and sort of supervise the new volunteers. And she was one of those people, and she was a lot of fun, and she's a great friend, and I'm glad she's here. And then there's Amber Duger. I've met Amber recently. She's a friend of mine in the Unstoppable Entrepreneurs, this group of powerful entrepreneurs run largely by women. There are some men, I'm one of them, but they're run largely by women. They're leading, and I think they're leading this world out, which is my tribe, because they are leading this world out of poverty thinking into prosperity living, which is what you're doing. You're realizing that it's not about money. You live in abundance and prosperity with what you have, and look at what you're turning it into, a little paradise down there next to your house.
I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed. And then, my childhood brain, the wounds and the stories and all that can sometimes take me out of that.
Of course.
And there's just something about, so there's a movie called Earthing, Earthing, Earthing. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's all about connecting to the earth. And, I'll go out into my garden barefoot. I'll go out shirtless and in shorts. I'm a 64-year-old man. I don't care. And I just work in my garden barefoot with no shirt. And there was one time last spring where it was just raining and I was out there with no shirt. And I just felt like, I'm a part of this whole thing. We all are part of this.
Yeah, you know what's from hello Amber, thank you for that. That's so sweet of you to say that about me.
Look at there.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
something. Martin doesn't have any wisdom, but there's a part of me, there's a divine part of me. Her name is Joy the Wise Woman, and she does have a good bit of wisdom to offer, but it's not Martin. I have to get out of the way and let Joy the Wise Woman talk, and she's here right now with us. But thank you for saying that, and I appreciate your comment. That was wonderful to hear that. And I forgot where I was going with that. What was I saying, Frank, about something else? I don't remember what I was saying.
I forgot at this point too. I,
Uh,
I want to touch something about I think that that happened in COVID specifically.
okay.
Uh, you know, one of the things that happened for me that was actually scary as heck at the beginning, but was a really good blessing is that I didn't have to go out and be anything for anybody. I was, quarantined, and it was just me, my dog, and my garden, and that allowed me things that I had not looked at because of the distractions of the world, because of the obligations to other people, what other people think I'm supposed to be or say or do. This gave me a year to just come in and be in my body and be mindful of what's going through my brain and to connect to what I am here now. And doing the garden, being in the garden, I've created this whole edible section. So I go out in the morning and forage mustard and arugula and kale and dandelions, and I'll fix myself a nice little salad in the morning out of my garden.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it's really connecting to our. Oh, I know what I was going to say is like when we move from things being an object to being a subject. People often say, "Well, I feel like I'm the tree, or I feel like I'm the earth." Well, it's not like for me when I'm in that zone. It's not like I know that the tree is the tree and the earth is the earth, but there is something about it becoming. It's like energetic. It's like we're the same. We are all the same life energy, and it feels like it feels like I can't think of, I'm melded with it, if there's a better way. And all of a sudden the world begins to look as if it's just everything, it's just energy moving, moving moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. And I happen to be a human being, you happen to be a human being, that happens to be a tree, this happens to be a dirt. And we're all sort of in unison working towards something collective to create. I don't know what we're even creating sometimes.
Yeah, the human ego can get us out of that in a
Oh,
second.
in a second, because the human ego. I had an. I was last night. I woke up and I was thinking about the definition of the shadow, and I came up with this idea. I'm curious because we both do shadow work. I'm interested in you thinking. The shadow is our narcissistic behavior of constantly trying to protect the big lie it's made up that we're not good enough. So we're stuck in this routine of the narcissist trying to protect the lie of not good enough. So anything that's coming in and telling us that we are good enough, that we're perfect, that we're whole, we're loved, it's looking for, oh no, it can't be. That can't be true. And so it's
On a microcosm, that sort of happened between you and me last week, with you encouraging me to do this, and I'm going, no, 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 no.
Right. And I was like, yeah, you got it. And you were like, no, I can't. I'm like, Frank, I promise you, you got it. What would you do? What we all do. I mean, I get invited to stuff too. We all do. We go up into our shadow tells us, oh no, we don't have enough. We're not smart enough. We don't know enough. We're not good enough. And what I was doing, I was threatening that egoic belief that you were good enough, because it doesn't want to let go of that. It's protecting that falsehood.
Yeah,
That's what the scarcity
protecting the
mind.
falsehood. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the scarcity mindset does. It protects our falsehood. And
Right.
so,
So if you look at it in the metaphor of a garden,
mhm.
you have to shape the earth. If you want things to grow, you have to dig. You have to expose things to the air. You have to allow rain and weather. You have to allow life circumstances to come down and have an impact. We are all a part of this whole thing. This whole thing I'm more of a Gaian person, actually. So I feel like this whole thing that we are a part of is there, and we're all vibrating. We're all there. We're all a part of it. And the blessing is that as humans, we can witness it and revel and dance with it. And I think like a lot of animals do, the four-leggeds and all that. So,
and one of the beautiful things about being a human being is that we get to be creators, because one thing we can do that animals can't do is we can transform stuff.
yeah, and I always say co-create.
Just the creation of your garden is a you take that empty lot and you do a few things, and you know how to do those things because you've learned it, because we have a brilliant mind, and you've learned how to take that lot and transform it into something beautiful, even
What's
more
been
beautiful.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, but what's been really nice with this particular garden, so I've for like 20 years designed gardens for other people. And so now I'm doing this garden just for me. Well, I never made a master plan. I have methodically gone from one little space to the other to create different pathways, different sections, different looks, different feels all around the garden. So it's becoming more of a eclectic landscape. And
Let's just acknowledge Amber real quick and let you go.
okay.
Amber, thank you so much for joining us today. Come back again. Glad you could come for just a few minutes. And
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you for saying yes to this, Frank. And you have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Amber. Blessings to you.
Okay, come back to you. I always want to thank
Yeah.
our loyal guest, our loyal audience.
Mhm. Well, I think it's co-creation.
It is.
And with my even with the Mankind Project, we have a mission and a shadow mission. I came up with my shadow mission first, but my once I got my mission is I co-create with nature, sacred space, or space for people and plants to come together. That was my mission statement for my urban nursery in DC called Old City Green. So plants and people are all very much alike. Some of us need water, some of us don't want water, some of us need light, some of us demand shade. There's a lot of juicy stuff there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what is your mission again with the Mankind Project? Mine is to create a world of abundance and prosperity by showing up with love and gratitude, and I live into that almost every day.
Mine is I nurture soulful connection by co-creating safe, authentic space.
And specifically, you do in gardening, and you create one right next to your house so that when people walk by it. I got something I plant out in front of my house. There's a little strip between my yard, my driveway, and my neighbor's driveway. It's about maybe 3 feet in the top, and then it narrows down to about maybe 18 inches as it gets closer to the road. And every year I throw in a whole bunch of zinnia seeds.
Nice.
And I love zinnias because one, the more you cut them, the more they flower. So I get to have zinnias in my house all summer. But everybody in the neighborhood just loves, and it just gets lush with all these almost like candy of flowers, beautiful zinnia flowers with all those pinks and golds and reds and everything. And everybody, I was listening, overhearing the neighbors talking the other day about, well, those guys, they put those flowers in over there, and they'll be out there soon, and they're so beautiful in the summertime. So people talk about it. They remember what you're doing because you're making a difference in their lives.
Oh yeah,
I remember an ordinary thing like planting some flowers and some gardening and some food, right?
It has an impact on the people who see it as well as on the impact of the person who planted the seeds. I remember there was a little patch up in Provincetown. Every year, the man puts his zinnia seeds out there. And so I'm always there at the end of summer. So with the breeze, you just see these zinnias just kind of going like this. And it's just this magical, loving, living thing of beauty. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I love our zinnias, and I'm waiting on it's probably a little early right now in this part of the country to put the zinnia seeds in the ground. I'll probably put them in around the 1st of May. What do you
What
think?
zone are you?
I don't know. I'm in northern New Jersey. I don't know what that
Well, you
number.
might be a 6, I think. I know that we got moved up to a 6 here. DC, Cumberland's a little bit cooler, so but Cumberland, DC was a 6. You might be higher. Anyway, I always
I
get
know
dyslexic
I
too
know
with the
it's all
zones.
changed. I know it's all changed. I think because of global warming, but
Uh, that's for sure.
you know,
Yeah.
I do feel good that we finally have people who are running our country who actually care about us and our planet and the things we all care about, and they're making laws. And my whole thing about when we go from poverty thinking, it's all connected to poverty thinking to prosperity living. When we start thinking of building infrastructures where we live in the abundance of all the things, and we start creating things that protect our environment, and we use our creative genius to use energy sources that protect our environment so that we can be here we can grow and build our country, and so that everybody can, and we create economic structures, and we create uh, social systems that actually benefit everybody. And
Yes.
it's just
Yes.
very, very exciting to be in that world so that everyone, I mean, in the old kind of the old paradigm, people were sort of like, oh, what's gardening got to do with it? You know, they didn't even really completely embrace the farm workers
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the importance of farm workers. And I think one thing that the COVID-19 has done is it's made us all stop and just really appreciate the farm workers and their laboring in the fields for us to have good food on our tables. So there's a lot we've learned, and now we have an administration, and we're electing government officials in the positions of power who I think embody that personal power that we're talking about, that spiritual, that divine presence of creativity to create everything. And it's just a very exciting time to be part of this world as we shift out of what I call poverty thinking into prosperity living for everybody.
Yeah. It's interesting being in our 60s. We have lived through quite a bit. I mean, if you
Yes,
think
we
about it, we
have.
were teenagers when they landed on the moon, right? And now here we are 50 years later, and we're still, finally we have an administration back that believes in climate change, believes that we've got to tend to the climate. We've
Well, it
got to
believes in
tend to our
science,
planet.
believes in the power of science. I mean, that's,
Yeah,
you know,
right,
science is science. I mean, it's the study of how things work. And,
right.
and you know, and when people who have a person, and if you're arguing with science, then it tells me you've got a personal agenda that is something that's for yourself. Because otherwise, why are you arguing with what is? It's like arguing with the truth, and it's just, and so it really shows up now that with people who are still in positions of power, who are in so much fear of losing, because that old paradigm's dead, and they're still
I hope
hanging
so.
on. They're still hanging on with the from the with the thin of their teeth to that old idea of power that they had an illusion of that no longer exists, and they're scared. They're very afraid, and they should be, because but somebody will come up, and people always say to me, Martin, why are you so open to, I don't see the world as us versus them, conservative versus liberal. I see it as all of us as one. And I do see it as those of us who are in the dark, who are enlightened to the truth, and those who've not yet gotten there. And we can't, it's hard, as you know, it's hard to get there when we're in fear, because we can't see beyond the shadow. We don't know that there's something better for us on the other side of that darkness. And I think what we're going to be seeing in the next year is, as more and more people, as we move more and more into prosperity living, more people are going to realize there's a benefit to them. Everyone benefits when we live in that. No one benefits from poverty thinking, but everyone benefits, including those at the top who are desperately trying to hold on to their illusion of power and money. Everybody benefits from living in prosperity and living in the truth.
Yeah. It's what comes to mind at the risk of sounding like a hippie.
We love hippies. I'm a hippie.
The whole story, the creation story, the planet was made in 7 days and Adam and Eve were in there and then they got exiled from the garden. Okay, so for thousands of years humans have felt exiled when in actuality, when they've shifted their own consciousness and their own sense of connection to all other human living things, not just human things, they see that the garden is all around them.
Yes.
And
The exile was the human mind thinking you didn't belong here.
that's a yes,
Thinking you were
yes. And
almost you're
shit,
not good enough to be here.
yeah, I bought that. I bought that.
Oh yeah,
That
I
not
did
feeling
too.
worthy, not feeling I deserve to be alive. Lots of guilt for surviving a pandemic in the 80s.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That metaphor is for the egoic thought, is for the shadow belief. It's we God didn't exile, throw us out of the garden. We threw ourselves out of the garden by our negative thinking about ourselves, by attacking ourselves, saying we don't belong here because we're not worthy of this place. And
Yep.
and then we learn that actually that's just a big lie. That's just a darn big lie. And I do belong here. I was born here, and it's a pretty precious, wonderful place to be, isn't it?
Yes, and we're still here.
And we're still here. And and we'll be some part of us will be here when our bodies are not. I firmly believe that.
Ooh, you're gonna get metaphysical.
I am always metaphysical. I just keep it well hidden. And guess what? It is half after the hour. I told you this would go by quicker than you think. It does. It goes by and just like that. So now we're going to step into the meditation component. And if you'll just follow along with me and sort of you can be the audience so that people kind of know what to do, and you'll just listen to me. It's pretty simple. The way I meditate is something called centering prayer. And there's a purpose of this centering prayer, and that is to begin to get centered around our power that's in our heart, that creative part of ourselves we're talking about here, that divine presence where we feel empowered to make a difference in the world. We step into that creative genius within ourselves. And we do that by getting still and surrendering all those thoughts, that belief that we have that we don't belong in the Garden of Eden, for example. We're going to surrender that and every other thought we have into that heart space to create more space for the truth to rise up, for that presence that Frank was talking about to come into place. And we're going to start that by first raising our arms up in the air. And we raise our arms up in the air for two reasons. One, to remind us of just how close that spark of life is. It's the life force in you. It's that divine presence that lifted your arms just then. It's not, I don't care how big your muscles are. If you weren't alive, they would not rise. It's also to celebrate gay, bi, trans men, celebrate Frank, celebrate me, and celebrate everyone in this world right now who's doing such a wonderful job of showing up to transform this world into a place where everyone belongs and feels an opportunity to contribute. So you can put your arms down now and get more comfortable. And the way we do this is we do something called conscious breathing to take us from the outside into the inside. We're going to go on a little internal exploration. We're going to get to know ourselves internally right now using the breath. So one of the things you want to do is you want to slow down the thinking of the brain, the mind. The brilliant brain is always thinking, always planning, and we can't stop it, and we don't really want it to for too long. We want the brain to work, but we want to give it a chance to have a little break. So in one of the ways to slow down the thinking, when we think, the back of our tongues vibrate. Our tongues vibrate. So we can reverse engineer it and slow down the tongue, will slow down the thinking. And the way I like to do that is to take the tip of your tongue and rest it on the roof of your mouth, just behind your two front teeth. Slightly part your lips and relax your jaw and breathe. Just breathe naturally. And as you breathe in through your nose, feel the gentle breath of your breath massaging the back of your tongue and relaxing it. Use the breath to gently massage the back of your tongue. And just notice what happens as you focus all your energy on the breath massaging, relaxing, and the breath massaging the back of your tongue. Now engage the belly muscles just a little bit to pull that breath more deeply into your belly, to anchor your spirit into your body, and use that anchor to anchor you into the seat. Use the breath as an anchor to connect the spirit to the body. And we're going to do 3 belly breaths. And that bell is the vibration to take you deeper. And we're going to do 3 belly breaths to bring us more deeply inside ourselves. It's going to look like this. With your belly muscles, you're going to pull the breath in through the nostrils, down the throat, massage the tongue, expand the rib cage and open the heart, and pull the breath more deeply down inside yourself, expanding the belly to create more space. Are you ready? Okay, bring it in. Bring it in a little deeper, a little bit deeper, hold it. And now, just release it all. Let everything go. And when you let the breath go, let every thought, let every opinion, let every judgment you have about yourself, me, Frank, this world, let it all go. Surrender it to the divine. Hold on to nothing. Allow yourself to gently fall into the stillness of infinite love consciousness, our essence, into that spaciousness. And we're going to do another belly breath. Again, with the belly, pull the breath in through the nose, down the throat, massage the tongue, open the heart, expand the belly, and pull the breath more deeply into yourself. Let's go. Hold it. Take in a little bit more. Hold it. Oh, let it all go. And as you let it go, let every remaining thought and opinion you have, any judgments about yourself, especially those of which you are ashamed, just let them go. Creating that space within yourself of emptiness and joy. Yeah, Frank, just feel that new awakening in your body. As your body literally lets go of all the tension in your face and in your hands, to create space for new, for new creation, for new life. We're going to do one more last belly breath. So with your belly, pull the breath in, into your belly, a little bit more, and now just let it go. Hold on to nothing and be still and know that I am God. Not me, Martin, not you, Frank, but the I am, the you are, you that's listening, me that's talking, the me that's living. Just be still and dance in that beauty.
Very nice.
Oh, there's a sweet sound of that wake-up bell to wake us up from our thinking, our planning, our plotting, our worrying, our sleeping. And the invitation is just to let it go and fall back gently into the sweetness of infinite love. Oh, there's another one of those sweet little wake up bells to wake us up from our thinking, our planning, our plotting, our sleeping, our worrying. And the invitation is to thank that brilliant brain for all it's doing and just to let it go. And allow the mind to even soften, your heart to soften, and allow yourself to fall more deeply into yourself, into the essence of who we are, divine love, creative energy. And there's our final wake-up bell, bringing us back to the material world. Everything is here, but it's a little different because we have a different view. We have a view from the heart.
Mm.
And now, with a different view of ourselves and our creator and from the heart, we have the wonderful opportunity to go out and do something wonderful the rest of the day. To go out and you can go out and get your hands in the garden and create some beautiful flowers and stuff. Set the room for you if you care.
Yes, I bought some more plants yet the other day at the plant store, and I have some perennials and even bought a few colorful annuals. So I'm going to be out working today. It's a glorious day this afternoon. So.
Yes, it is. I'm going to do that this weekend myself. I'm going to get out and do some planting and actually, I need to do some cleanup from the fall with the leaves and just do a spring cleanup. So what I really need to do, and I'm looking forward to doing that. And I want to. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I want to ask you. Hold on a minute here. I want to ask you, Frank, if people want to get to know you and hear more about your gardening and how they can maybe find a way to find more bliss and enjoyment in their lives, particularly in retirement, maybe as a gardener, how can they get in touch with you? What's the easiest way for people to find you?
I would say on Facebook. Yeah, send me a message on Facebook. I also have a website, not Facebook page rather, called Gardens of the World, Gardens of Our World, excuse me, Gardens of Our World with Frank Asher. I post there periodically to share information about new gardens that have been designed or created and what's been going on around the world. My big dream would be able to just travel around the world and see all these gardens and introduce them to everybody. That's one thing us human beings have in common, is that we have to tend to this planet if we're to survive. And our gardens are what give us life and our culture. So
there you go. So
garden.
what a fun way to do it, is to go out and travel the world and share it with others and what you see and seeing it and being able to share it through your eyes.
Mm. Yes, that would be that's on my bucket list, to like have something like that going around it. I've been
I don't
very
know what
fortunate
happened.
to
I
see
just
gardens
unplugged
around the world
everything. Hold on a minute here.
Uh-oh,
We're back. Okay, we're back in business. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I think we're back on the line now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I hit the cord and everything came unplugged.
That's all right.
And we are connected through electronics, so I guess that's why we had to be connected. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. And hold on for a second, Frank. I'm going to close this out, and you stick around for a minute. I want to talk to you for a second once we go backstage.
Okay. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh my God, it's been a joy having you here. I knew it'd be fun. I've had so much fun over the years leading weekends with you with the Mankind Project. I knew we'd have a good time here. You have the freedom to say what we darn well want to here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as many of you know, I am a spiritual teacher. I am a prosperity and mindset coach, working largely with gay, bi, and trans entrepreneurs to help them cultivate a prosperity mindset, to clarify their mission in the world, why they're here, what they're here to do. And most important, the most fun part of all is to show people how they can enjoy living and making money doing what they love. Because it should be, that's the way it should be. Not the way it always is, but that is the way of the heart, to do what's light, what's easy, and makes you feel good. Yep, and so that's what I do as a prosperity. And I've got a special, we have conflicts within ourselves to prevent us from doing that. So for that reason, I have created a special Facebook group called Financial Heart Space for Gay, Transgender, and Bisexual Men, for us to go in and work on those conflicts that are keeping us out of living those lives, of being able to live in abundance and live in prosperity and enjoy life. So we've all got conflicts that need to be resolved. So I've created this space for us to come together as men, because our conflicts are different than women's, to be able to work, and our conflicts are different than straight men. So it's a safe space for us to come in and help each other to actually grow and build our businesses through community and not competition, and just get the support we need to be big and be bold and live our lives to the fullest. So that's that. And if that's you, please join us over in that Facebook group. I have another Facebook group called the Financial Mystic Sanctuary, which is for everyone to get together to learn more about the mystical parts of life and to follow my wisdom and teachings if that's something you're interested in. So please join us there in the Financial Mystic Sanctuary. Both of the links are very close to this page. Hey, what about a straight? Well, I love straight 63-year-old women, and that's what I was saying. I have a space just for everyone, and that's called the Financial Mystic Sanctuary, and that's for everyone, everybody, straight or gay, doesn't matter. But there's a reason why why we keep the one group to ourselves is because those conflicts and those difficulties are unique to us.
Sometimes gay men need a space for gay men, just like women need spaces for women, and men need spaces for men.
To do our work, really. Because then we show up more whole, more honest, more complete with the rest of the world. It's really about us looking at our own demons and our own shadows in a safe that we understand.
Yeah, and white people need to do more of that too.
Yeah, everybody needs to do more of that. Everybody needs to spend a little more time looking at at the conflicts they have between who and what they are and what's real. That's what that's about. So if that answer, yeah, there you go. Now you see, I'm always speaking the truth, and I don't always speak to anybody, straight or gay, about on a one-on-one conversation. As you know, we had one the other day, Mindy. So I'm here for everybody, but that's group is just specifically for that purpose. So, having said all that, I am grateful for you coming today, and may love and prosperity prevail. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Mark.